This is the Dallas Morning News.
Eat, Drink, DFW from the Dallas Morning News is made possible by Central Market.
North Texas food fans, it's time for another episode of Eat, Drink, DFW from the Dallas Morning News. Every week, our food staff loves to dig into the local restaurant scene, talk about food and drink trends, and those things that make North Texas, North Texas. This is Anna Butler. I'm the News' food and events editor and your podcast host. This week, we are talking about a new dumpling spot that takes the process to a whole new level for North Texas and other places that make scratch-made food art. So stick around. You won't want to miss this.
Central Market is really into food. Like when we say cheese, it's in 12 languages into food. Butchers, bakers, and sushi roll makers into food. We're talking so obsessive about quality you can shop blindfolded into food. Central Market is really into food. If you are too, then let us turn your shopping list into a treasure map. Get inspired, get adventurous, or just get a chef-made dinner when you've got more taste buds than time. No place makes every meal more amazing like Central Market. Really into food. Shop now at centralmarket.com.
And we're back. For the latest food and restaurant news, visit dallasnews.com/food. And we'd love to hear from you. If you have any food questions, a need for restaurant ideas, and more, reach out to us by visiting dallasnews.com/askeatdrink. Today, I'm joined by our food writers, Claire Baller and Imelda Garcia. Sarah Blaskovich is on fall break with her kids, so hopefully doing things from our fall bucket lists, if we can hope for that. But how are y'all doing?
Good. We're good, yeah.
Last week, Claire wrote about her trip to Shanghai Taste, and we see a handful of restaurant openings every week, but can you explain a little bit about why this particular one was so exciting?
This restaurant caught my attention when we first learned it was coming to the Dallas area. That was earlier this year. So Shanghai Taste is a restaurant from Las Vegas. It opened in Las Vegas's Chinatown in 2018, and its chef and one of its owners, Jimmy Lee, has become pretty well known for his restaurant and specifically for his dumplings. So I was really interested when I heard that he was opening another location of his restaurant in Plano. It seemed kind of random, but also exciting to get food that he was recently, just in 2023, recognized by James Beard for. He was nominated for Best Chef in his region. So I kind of tracked their journey as they were working on getting this restaurant up and running. It took some time because they were kind of hung up waiting for equipment to come from overseas for their kitchen specialty equipment.
So is this a franchise, Claire?
So the location that opened here in Plano is a franchise location. It is the one and only. I don't know that they will do more franchise locations. I talked to one of the owners about this, and he said they're not really planning to, but this one seemed like a good fit. So they have two locations in Las Vegas, and they were approached by a regular customer who happens to be from the Plano area. He travels to Vegas frequently and thought that the restaurant could do really well in North Texas. And so they said, you know what? Why the hell not? Let's try it and see what happens.
Wow.
And so far, the reception has been pretty great. I think that we are a region that really appreciates regional Chinese food. There's a good bit of that here. And, what Shanghai Taste does is it's all kind of a elevated take on Shanghai street food, done in a very traditional way. That's something that's very important to Jimmy Lee. He was telling me his parents are both come from the restaurant industry in Shanghai. That's where he was born and raised. He moved here when he was 16 and got into the restaurant business with them. So this is a lifelong thing for him. And to him, it's super important to do things the traditional way, often the not so easy way, but that's the approach he takes, especially with his soup dumplings, which is what Shanghai Taste has really become known for.
I'm not an expert on dumplings, and for me, they are like this mysterious food. And talk to me about the inside, because for me, it's like a surprise, It's like, what is in here?
Yeah, especially soup dumplings. I love soup dumplings. Anna, I know you do too. So these are dumplings that when you bite into them, they're filled with broth. which you think about the logistics of that, and that's not easy to pull off very well, right? You have this really fragile dough. If anyone has ever tried to pick up a soup dumpling for the first time with chopsticks, you know there's there's some skill there.
They are slippery.
There's room for error. There is room to get burned, literally.
Yes.
Figuratively.
Yeah. And so Jimmy walked me through his process for making these. And he starts with making a stock. And he makes this pork stock using pork skins and cooks them down for hours on end. And you'll see some people will expedite this process for making the broth for soup dumplings by using pre-made gelatin. Jimmy does not do that. He's adamant that that is not the way to do it traditionally. And so he cooks down this pork skin and you cool it. And what you're left with is a pretty gelatinous block that when Anna's face.
My face.
Does this sound appealing?
Look, maybe I didn't want to know how these were made. That's my big takeaway right now. Gelatin and one of my favorite foods is not what I thought I was going to hear today. But now I'm thinking about liking fatty brisket, and I'm going to be okay.
Yeah. What's really fascinating is what happens is you take this kind of solidified form of stock, which is actually surprisingly really bland on its own, intentionally so. That's not where the seasoning comes in these pork dumplings. That's all coming from the meat that they mix it with. So they take this gelatinous block and essentially get it into a minced form. So you're talking about granules of this stuff that's mixed in with the meat mixture that goes into these dumplings. So we're talking about minced pork that's really wonderfully seasoned and put into these dumplings that are then folded. Very particularly for Jimmy, he says it is absolute must. We're talking 18 folds that all go top to bottom, left to right.
Oh, wow.
No room for anything else in there for how he does it.
Do they eat the ones that they mess up?
That's a great question that I did not ask.
I want to
I'll
go
have to
there.
I'm going to volunteer.
Yeah.
Because it sounds like a need for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so what happens with the filling of these dumplings is when they are put in the baskets to steam, the little granules of that solidified stock melt and
gelatinous
back
block.
into a liquid broth form. And that's how you get all that liquid in the dumpling. And I will say, out of the soup dumplings I have had, the ones at Shanghai were the most broth filled I've had, which was really a lovely surprise.
That is lovely. You told me that you took some home with you, and your husband popped in and was like, "Where did you get?"
Yeah, he's one to just dive headfirst into eating something without knowing what it is or where it's from. But yeah, he took one bite and was like, "I've got to know where these are, and I need to go back and get more." Everything I had there was really good and just really very particularly made, which for me, as someone who writes about food and talks about food all day, pretty much every day, it's really cool to watch someone and a restaurant just really take such a level of detail to the food that they make. I'm interested to go back now that they are fully open and kind of getting their feet under them at this Plano location and see if that holds up. It's always different when we as food writers go to a place for the first time. I always like to go back and see how things are going. So I plan to do that here. But first impressions were really, really good.
Yeah, I was going to say it's a little different because sometimes we're seeing the early preview of something. And so it's like you don't get to incorporate service into what that experience is or those little things that definitely matter. I'm going this weekend with a friend I met at the dog park that I've known for all of 8 years. And it makes sense if you have a dog because you see the same people every single time you're at the dog park. This is a long anecdote, but I'm going this weekend. What should I order, Claire?
Okay, the good question. Definitely the soup dumplings. I would say that's a must. Like I said, that's what this place is known for. One of the dumplings that I had that was a kind of sleeper hit to me, I was not expecting it to be as good as it was the steamed fish wontons. So these are a wonton dumpling that are filled with mahi mahi that they toss with really fresh herbs. They're adding those herbs. I watched them do this. They add those herbs into this fish mixture right before they stuff the dumplings and steam them. Jimmy was telling me they want those herbs to be as fresh as possible. Um, and if you don't like cilantro, these won't be for you. There's a good bit of cilantro in there, but those were so good. The fish was so fresh and they were so herby and great.
My mind is still in how they are prepared because I had this idea, this silly idea, that they took a needle and then they inject the needle.
Injected the soup.
But yeah, now I don't know. I have like an epiphany here.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a very smart way of doing it, and it's been done for
Wow.
centuries, for how this has been made. And it's just really cool to see a very modern place still incorporating really long-standing culinary traditions in their kitchen.
Yeah, absolutely.
Imelda, you've been on kind of a similar journey of finding those long-standing
Yes.
traditions, kind of on your own terms. But someone had asked us an ask, eat, drink question a while ago about where to find handmade tortillas in town.
Yeah, that's true. And you know what? After that, we made also this story about how makes a taco a great taco. And one part of it is the tortillas. I mean, the tortillas are a key part of a taco. So I did my homework and I went to the hunt of the best places where you can find handmade tortillas. But let me tell you this, guys. I remember my grandmother making the tortillas, but before they are made with this kind of machine that crush the masa, the dog, and then you can have a tortilla.
Is it the one where it kind of like spirals down
Oh, that's
and then it hits like a conveyor belt and then it like goes under an oven?
well, that's a machine tortilla. But
Oh, okay. Sorry. I used to get to go watch that at Mamacita's. It's like a Central Texas thing. And my parents were like, this is the only reason y'all are allowed to leave the table.
oh, so they are like fresh tortillas. so
Yeah,
to
they
speak,
were
but-
still fresh, but like you're talking about like a very specific distinction too, which I think sometimes we're like, these were made in house. That's very different than these are handmade.
Yeah, so our abuelitas make the tortillas like I don't know, like when you applaud like this. So you take the dog ball and then you like applaud with it,
Yeah.
and you make the tortilla like that. That is the most traditional way to make a tortilla. But I mean, it's difficult, and that is an old tradition. You cannot see that anymore in Mexico. It's really really rare. But the next step for that, so historically, the next step was to use a press for the dog, and then you put the bulldog in there with a little plastic, so it cannot like glue itself. So you press the dog and you get your tortilla. So this is the most traditional way that we can find now, because I mean we have those kind of machines that you are talking about, Anna. Those where you put the masa on it and it make the tortillas and you receive the tortilla made. But these kind of tortillas that we are talking about are those with the made with the press. So there's a lady in there working with the masa with the dog, and then take a little balls of dog and then put it on the press and make the tortillas in a big like griddle. We call it comal, and doing it like this one by one. So these ladies are making like I don't know 500 tortillas in one day. So it's crazy, and the flavor of it it's really really special, really specific. It's very different. I don't know why. Maybe because they are like thicker.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Imelda, have you found places are making both their corn and flour tortillas, or do you find that restaurants tend to prioritize one and outsource the other?
Basically, they buy this flour, corn flour, because it's easier. Then they just put water on it, and they make the dough and then the tortillas. But yeah, there are some places that where you can find nixtamalized corn. That is the traditional way that tortillas are made, and this is you buy the corn, you put it to boil with lime. So they take the corn and then they boil with this lime to have a chemical process, and then you find this corn that is like it becomes like yellowish, and then you take that corn and make the dough with it. So that is the traditional way, but it's difficult to find that. But for example, here in Dallas, El Carlos Elegante makes that process, so you can find real traditional tortillas over there. Other places take the maseca, that is the corn flour, and it's easier because you just have to add water and that's it. But I mean, it's flour, it's not tortilla. So, yeah, a lot of good memories of this for some of us remembering our abuelitas making the tortillas.
You said it became jello-like. So for me, I've now had another gelatinous block. I don't know. I think one of the things that I love the most in food is just watching someone do something that they're really, really good at. And watching someone make tortillas or sit there and handfold dumplings just like clockwork in a way that they know what it's supposed to look like. It's one of the most exquisite things that you can do. And I always find that very exciting. I think that's true across like all crafts, though, maybe.
I would say if you're ever at a restaurant where they have some of that process on display, take a moment and really appreciate it. Shanghai Taste is one of those. They have a front room in their small little restaurant that is all glass. So you can see from the street or from inside, you can go up and watch them hand make these dumplings, all different kinds. And as you were mentioning, there are also Mexican restaurants that put their tortilla making process on display as well that you can usually see from a dining room or from the front of the restaurant. I always love to take a moment and watch some of that process. It can seem like it's there just like to be performative, but usually those restaurants are actually, I mean, that is actual food that you are going to be eating. And it's really cool to get to watch those highly technical processes happen in real time.
And this is something that the restaurants must tell us, they have to let us know that they are using these traditional ways to do things because sometimes we don't know and we don't know their culture and we would love to know how are these dishes cooked or what are we eating.
There's a lot of strategy to it too, because if you think about both dumplings and tortillas, these are foods that in many cases, in many places, are bought pre-made and served.
Yeah.
And so I think, the places that choose to be really transparent are really wanting to send the message, no, we are making this in real time here. It's an arduous process, but it's something that we're committed to. And I think that's really cool when restaurants not only take that approach, but do it in a way that that diners can be a part of and witness.
It always makes me feel a little bit like a serial killer, which is quite a transition. But I always love watching someone fillet a fish or, butcher something. And it's not for the faint of heart. But that's another one where it's like there's such a specific art to doing it right that I've always been fascinated by. But again, it's a weird one to talk to about with other people.
Just to clarify that you are not a serial killer.
Just to
Appreciate
clarify.
it. No, it's so true though. I mean, if you've ever watched someone butcher something whole, it's fascinating. And again, so technical.
And some people might not want to eat meat after watching it too.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it's graphic, but we're going to move on. We actually do have a question we're going to answer from our Ask, Eat, Drink segment. This comes from a, reader/listener, which is very exciting always. And we would love to encourage y'all to continue to send us your questions. That's through a form at dallasnews.com/ask-eat-drink. All right, Claire, can you walk us through this question?
This question comes from Myra. She said, are there any restaurants in Dallas that cater well to solo diners? I thought this was a great question because I think most people have probably had an experience where they have dined alone. Maybe that's something that they do often or something that they would do but don't feel comfortable doing. So one of the first things that came to mind for me was sushi bars. I think sushi bars are great for solo dining. There's often really good counter seating where it's easy to show up as a party of one. And you also get kind of, I think, the best seat in the house. Again, we're talking about technical cooking and getting to watch that process. Sushi's great for that. And I like that it's a little bit of dinner and a show, where you get to sit there and watch your food being prepared in front of you. So, one good spot for this is Sasa Sushi, which is in East Dallas in the Lakewood area. In a similar vein, but kind of different, is a place like Tatsu. Now, this is an omakase restaurant. It is pricey and also hard to get into. But this kind of brings me to another point I thought of when I saw this question, which is being a solo diner is really advantageous when you're talking about dining at restaurants that are hard to get into. Places like Tatsu, way easier to get a seat for one than a seat for 2 to 4. Also, a place like Lucia. That's a restaurant that reservations book out really far, but they're known for being a place where you can pretty easily snag a walk-in bar seat. Way easier to do as a solo diner. And so those are the kind of spots that I have on my radar for solo dining. What about you, Anna?
Yeah, I'm always about fun facts and fun stats. And so Open Table has one that in the last 2 years, solo dining reservations have risen 29%, which is
Oh,
a
wow.
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, is it because there are more single people? Is it because people just don't want to eat with each other anymore? I don't know. That's not our
Wow.
job. We're not anthropologists. But I definitely have ones for this. And like sushi bars, the word bar is in mine too. And like being able to go to a great place like Lucia, I think that the bar is a good entry point if you're not used to solo dining too, because the bartenders know what to do. So a handful of mine, I think Hillstone does a great job in R&D. I love Greenpoint for that. And then DL Max over on Hillcrest near Mockingbird Lane is another one where the bar is just great. But hotels are also super used to this too. So we have some great hotel bars in town. But these are all kind of fancy. And so the other ones that came to mind is there is a bar at the taco joint at Abrams and Mockingbird that's really fun to watch games at. There's a large bar at definitely a dive bar, and you're only going to be eating fried food at a place called Avenue on Greenville Ave. But those ones are fun and might be a little bit different of a price point than some of these other ones we're talking about.
I will say, if you want to meet somebody, maybe, or getting to talk to someone, yeah, you go to a restaurant, and pretty much every restaurant with a bar. I mean, you can get in there and have a good time and everything. But no, for me, it's I'm alone. I'm going for takeout and a good movie in my home. Yeah, with my slippers, and I will be happy. Yeah, that's my night.
I know. I was like, for me, a nice solo night is maybe not having to talk to other people, but
Yeah,
to each his own.
yeah,
For that type of takeout dining, especially for solo diners, Eatsies is such a great spot for that. To me, I think their portions are great for getting a just solo meal. They're not too much. Sometimes you can get some things that like you'll actually have some leftovers, but I love that type of market approach too to solo dining when you just need something casual.
All right. Imelda brought in a snack, and I'm not going to call it a treat because I'm not thrilled about trying this. But over the past week or so, singer Dua Lipa, I sound really hip right now. I know who she is, okay? But she received some attention for something that she did. Imelda, tell us more.
yeah. She put pickle juice and a jalapeno juice in a Diet Coke. So, I mean, we have tried these pickle juice sodas, and they were like really good. But the jalapeno, that's a twist. That's something new.
Wait, she put straight up juice. I thought that it was like pickle slices or and jalapeno slices, but it's like straight up
Yeah,
mixing juice
that's
in with.
correct.
Oh, okay.
So it's a liquid treat. So let me
Oh,
prepare some for you. Yeah.
okay.
So I
You
broke
sound
the
so excited.
jalapeno juice, and it's really spicy,
Oh,
and the
great.
pickle juice. Okay, let's try it.
I should disclose that I probably have before. I am not a soda drinker. I just have never liked it, which I feel like is weird. But I just don't like soda.
I like Sprite a lot. I love a good crisp McDonald's Sprite, but do I have
That
more
burns your
than
nose.
that burns anybody's nose? It's not just mine, but I have it maybe once a month, and some people pour a glass of wine after a long day. I have get a crispy Sprite or maybe lemonade, but like that's what I do. Like when I've had a bad day, I'm like, we're gonna get a
You're
lemonade
like,
right
I'm gonna revert to my 11-year-old self.
There's probably something in this.
Okay, here we go.
Whoa. Speaking
Okay,
of
wait.
crispy,
Oh, that's a Diet Coke. I should know. See, I don't drink soda, so I don't know what a Diet Coke can looks like versus regular.
my mom drank a lot of Diet Coke growing up, and that's why I can recognize it on sight. We've had Coke on this podcast before, at which time I think I mentioned it was the first time I was having Coke without like an adult additive to it. So this will now be the second time in my life that I've done this.
Although still not pure Coke, especially sodas with pickle and jalapeno. Yeah, Imelda, I give up soda with pickle and jalapeno in it, so can't participate.
My doctor
Imelda,
said no.
your pores are heavy. It's a lot.
Okay, let's see. I didn't put the juice.
She's
No
like,
juice.
I'm not gonna acknowledge.
Yes, you just straight up ignored me.
Oh, I'm gonna pass you the pickle juice so you can smell it
You know,
first.
she put some slices in it, but I never watched
Okay.
the film.
Go ahead.
Are these dill pickles?
Yes,
Okay. They check out. They smell like dill pickles. Am I supposed to put a pickle slice in and the juice?
you can.
How much juice?
Whatever you want.
I need some direction here.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
These pickle slices are giant.
No fear.
Imelda.
I know. I tried to do it. They were for sandwiches, so.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I just dumped pickle juice all over Anna's lanyard.
My work.
You're gonna smell.
Okay, people like.
Oh,
Oh,
I don't want too much though, Imelda.
Be bold. Be bold sounds like a really
Oh, that was a lot. Okay.
slogan.
Okay, now please smell the jalapenos and then put some of them.
You want her to
Go
smell
ahead.
them?
Oh, they smell really good.
Yeah, they're good. Go ahead.
Did you pickle these?
Nah,
Oh.
no.
I was
No,
kinda
no.
wondering if you'd done them yourself.
I wish.
Okay, I need to pour this
Oh wow!
strategically.
Hell of a garnish.
I'm nervous about how much. Oh, that was way too much. Oh no. Okay, I'm stirring this
ahead,
up with my giant pickle slice.
Oh,
Is that
okay.
too much?
Yeah, it is.
I don't know. We need to watch
I
Imelda. I don't even
like
know if she's even pouring
spicy.
anything in over
No,
there.
I am.
Amela, the entire scheme is that Imelda's not actually.
I don't think she is.
And that it's like, oh, it's finished.
That's spicy.
Nah, but it has a strong aroma. Huh? Okay, let's see.
Oh, Imelda, that was a
Oh.
lot.
Okay, I'm giving it a stir with
Oh yeah,
a pickled jalapeno.
I'm sorry, I forgot.
Maybe
the sauce.
centrifugal force is the best way to do this.
Okay, cheers, guys.
I don't
Cheers.
want to do this.
It's like drinking a Big Mac.
I can see it. It's saltier than I was expecting, but I did pour a lot. But honestly, I okay, as someone who does not drink soda and is completely uninterested in Coke, this is better to me than
Oh my gosh, I was worried I was going to say
Yeah.
something controversial. I like this so much more than Coke.
Yeah.
It takes out a little bit of what I've always felt was almost licoricey.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And I will say, at the end of the day, this is not, in theory, this is a really good palatable bite because it's salty, it's spicy, it's sweet. Like we're
tangy.
actually we're getting the tangy, and maybe Diet Coke. The umami of Diet Coke is really rounding out the palate. But I'm like, it actually, in theory, is a better bite. Have y'all ever added salt to like a sweet coffee drink?
Yeah.
And it's better.
It's
Yeah,
It's what it's supposed to do in your mouth.
This almost seems like this is kind of like how Coke should taste.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like it's not well balanced on its own.
Yeah, it's surprisingly good, huh?
I also though am curious about our quality control here
Yeah.
about like how much we each have of what thing in here, but like at least mine tastes pretty good. I did not put. I'm not getting as much jalapeno, but I think that's just a me thing. I didn't pour as much as I did the pickle. I'm also
More if you want more.
I think I'll,
I get the spicy on the back.
Yeah.
It's at
like a kick at the
yeah, it's at the end of the
Yeah.
taste.
And I wish you can watch Claire. She's not a soda girl, and she's drinking this.
I've had more sips than I was expecting. Now, okay, I just bit into the pickle slice. That I don't need to ever eat again. Coke, so Oh, I don't like that.
It might be coming back.
I'm surprised. Okay. Good job,
Yeah.
Dua Lipa.
So here's the thing. It is better than a Coke.
Yeah.
I never want to have this ever again.
Yeah, but I mean, I thought it was like, ugh, like guacala, but no, it's not. It's good actually. Yeah, surprisingly good. Yeah, so yeah, good job.
Thanks for making us branch out,
Yeah.
Imelda. I appreciate it.
I feel like I've hit my adventure quota for the year.
You're very brave, guys. Thank you very much for trying this.
All right, that's all the time we have for Eat Drink DFW this week. Again, you can reach out to us to share your food thoughts and questions by visiting dallasnews.com/askeatdrink and filling out the form on our website. We appreciate you tuning in and we'd love to hear from you. This show is produced by Billy Kidd. To catch up on every episode of this show and hear more from our newsroom, just follow the Dallas Morning News wherever you get your podcasts. And if you like what you hear, please rate the show and leave a review. Find links to all of our work at dallasnews.com/listen. You'll also find a special membership offer there. For the news, I'm Anna Butler. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you all next week.
Eat, Drink, DFW from the Dallas Morning News is made possible by Central Market.